All right, well, new reports, Republicans are making headway in a renewed effort to repeal and replace Obamacare. Conservatives and moderates working on a compromise. House Speaker Paul Ryan says they could be nearing a deal.
It's difficult to do. We're very close, and it's basically make good on the promises that were made. We want to have a system in America where everyone has affordable access to good health insurance, good health care coverage, including people with pre-existing conditions.
Guy Benson is political editor for townhall.com and Fox News contributor. Bernard Whitman is a former Bill Clinton pollster and CEO of Whitman Insight Strategies. All right, Guy Benson, what do you know about this?
Well, I think it's progress, but I wouldn't say there's been a breakthrough. I spoke to a couple Republican aides on Capitol Hill just a few minutes ago, and they said no legislative text yet. They're trying to hammer out the final details in the compromise, and it might be discussed on a caucus-wide conference call this coming weekend. So there is some suggestion that perhaps there could be a vote next week. They're sort of downplaying that at the leadership level, but we shall see. It seems like they are closer to getting something done or accomplished than it seemed like they might be even a week or two ago.
All right, so Bernard, according to Politico and The Hill, here are some of the details of the compromise about which we are discussing. For one, states would have the option to apply for waivers to allow them to repeal one of Obamacare's core protections for people with pre-existing conditions called community rating. That means insurers would no longer be prevented from charging people with pre-existing conditions higher premiums because of their illness. And the measure would also allow states to repeal Obamacare's essential health benefits, which mandate that insurers cover a range of health services, including mental health and prescription drugs. These are some of the things that we're learning at this point. Bernard?
So I think we're actually further away from replacing and repealing Obamacare than ever before. And the reason is Paul Ryan thinks we're putting the finishing touches on it. So we know how well that goes. And it's a good thing that this bill is probably not going to pass, because it would be an absolute disaster for virtually any American. If you're a senior, your costs would likely rise dramatically. If you have mental health issues, you could kiss that coverage potentially goodbye. If you take prescription drugs, that coverage could be lost. If you happen to have a pre-existing condition, as you just suggested, you could be absolutely priced out of the market. This plan is a disaster. It's actually worse than the Ryan plan, the Trumpcare plan, that only 17% of Americans supported. And it's no wonder that in comparison to what's on the table on the Republican side, Trump famously said, wow, health care is hard. A majority, for the first time ever, 55%, a majority of Americans now support Obamacare and trust the Democrats on health care by 54 to 35 over the Republicans.
And what we've heard from Sean Spicer, Guy, is that the appetite to really get this done continues to grow. But you look at the ambitious timeline, with the White House reportedly trying to get something together, with the 100-day mark quickly approaching. We're at 90 today. Is the timeline rather, or maybe too ambitious?
I mean, it might be, but I think one of the problems that Republicans ran into in the first iteration of this process was putting artificial timelines on it, saying we have to get it done by X date, where they sort of set up all this pressure and then failed. So I think they're probably going to try to avoid that this time around. I would just say that some polls show that Obamacare's popularity has increased. Others show that it is still a highly divisive law that is also hurting more people than it's helping. That has been the case since it was implemented, and we're going to see more insurers leaving the market. Anthem announced that, or at least indicated that a few weeks ago. We're going to see higher premiums yet again under Obamacare, fewer choices for people, higher deductibles. The current law is failing and hurting people. Republicans promised to clean up the mess that Democrats made, and I applaud them for moving forward and trying to keep the promise. Let's see the details of the bill once it comes forward, if it does.
Bernard, what would be the impact of another failed attempt?
Well, I think that the Trumpcare bill is most notably damaging President Trump. A majority of people, again, according to Gallup, now feel that he doesn't keep his promises, can't govern effectively, can't solve the problems of the American people. And, we're at day 90. He had a contract with America. Don't forget, contract with voters announced in October, a 10-point plan. He was going to work on health care, immigration, child care, infrastructure, tax reform, and 5 other things. He does not have a single success, and likely won't at the 100-day mark, making this one of the least effective starts to a presidency in modern times.
All right. Well, Paul Ryan says they're putting the finishing touches on it. We'll see if the GOP can get it done this time. Thanks to both of you, Bernard and Guy.
Sandra.